going on, everybody? How's it going, Discord community? Welcome back to episode 14 of Behind the Bench. I'm your host, Neil, Irish Flyers collector here on Discord and over on Instagram. As many of you might be able to see here, my beloved Flyers chair is back and it's stronger than before. It's all reinforced on the side. The plastic molding arms that cracked. One cracked about a year or two ago. The second one just cracked the other week that I talked about. So it's back and reinforced, stronger than ever. So I'm pretty happy and excited about that. I feel like my other chair was lower, was all out of sorts, and so yeah, it definitely pays to have a work environment where you have maintenance staff that can help you out, and they certainly overdid it. So, but kudos to my guys at my maintenance guys at work. They helped take care of me and fix that up for me. So that's the only thing crazy new that I've got going on. It's been a pretty dull week as far as just kids getting ready for school, going back in a week or two. So that's the kind of time frame it is around the Irish Flyers collector house. But for I'm going to apologize right out of the gate for this episode because I'm somewhat afraid of the length of how long it's going to be based off of how much research that I've done. I'm going to do my best to keep things moving along, but this is one of those topics that just kept building as I was diving into it, and it kind of took on a life of its own. So the topic for today's episode was a suggestion or a question from one of our members of our Discord community. It came to us from fellow Discorder SD Hockey Cards. Probably, I'm presuming that means South Dakota. But so a couple of weeks ago, SD Hockey Cards shared the following comment. So he said, O-Pee-Chee probably has the premier rainbow in the hobby, but it wasn't always the rainbow we know today. In the 90s and 2000s, there were cards numbered to 100, but in the 2000-2003 set, O-Pee-Chee introduced their blue out of 500 and red out of 100 parallels, which looks like it could be the birth of the rainbow, as the following year there was a blue 500, red 100, and gold 50. Could this be the first seismic gold? With all that context, I guess you could take two approaches to this topic. One, the history of numbered cards from the junk wax era, numbered 20,000 and such, to the modern one of ones, or more specifically, O-Pee-Chee's numbered card history. Well, ask and you shall receive, SD Hockey Cards. Now I'm going to try my darndest to make this as interesting and informative as possible, and pray that in my research that I get everything right. So bear with me if I get anything wrong. I did do the research. I am just, regular hobby guy, trying to do content and share ideas. So I did the research all on my own here over a couple of weeks of actually digging in online resources. And I am focusing on the last part of SD's question about more specifically the O-Pee-Chee parallel, the numbered card history. I think that that's the core where he was getting at. And I'm tying that into the parallels and the rainbow because he spoke about that. So I hope this ends up being what you were looking for and thinking. SD, I think it'll make the content a little wider and broader, vast for the hobby in general. I did feel that it was a very cool topic and a cool idea. And maybe it's just overlooked a little bit because it's so ingrained in us and accepted. Maybe I will be taking maybe a few presumptions and taking a few liberties, tying this back to O-Pee-Chee and the O-Pee-Chee Platinum Rainbows. But I did think it was a very valid tie-in that SD made, talking about the older numbered color parallels that were going back into O-Pee-Chee. I do have to mention a few caveats or a few points that we'll talk about you'll hear me talk about these before I get into this. But first and foremost, I wanted to review kind of a couple definitions here. First one we're going to get into is what is the definition of a parallel? And when I typed it into the Google machine, this is what I have. I understand the concepts, but to be able to explain it, wanted to get a definition for you all. So, parallel sports cards are variations of a base card within a set, distinguished by unique features like different colors, foil patterns, or serial numbering. They maintain the same design and image as the base card, but offer collectors alternative versions with varying levels of rarity. That pretty much summarizes what the color rainbow is, and that we've come to be familiar with and associate with O-Pee-Chee Platinum. And to tie into that, with the talking about rainbows, just to be sure and to be clear, everybody understands. I'm sure most people do, but in sports cards, a rainbow refers to collecting every color variation parallels of specific player's card within a single set. This includes all the different color versions from base cards to the rarest one-of-one variations. Achieving a complete rainbow is a challenging and coveted accomplishment for collectors. So that covers those two things, talking about what a parallel is. We're also going to talk about inserts in a little bit later, but parallels and rainbows all kind of tied in together. So covering those two kind of definitions right out of the top, right off the top here. Now, parallels have existed since the early '90s. If you remember back to, I think it was like 91, 92 time frame, Topps had the gold parallel, the Topps gold, where the foiling of the player's name and team at the bottom was in like a gold foil. Um, Card manufacturers also did it foiling at the bottom in other varying colors and foils. That was another common practice as well. So now, one of the other things I went back. Now, don't hold me to this, but I feel that this could be accurate based off of what I dug into. I searched through TCDB and reviewed every set's parallels in the mid '90s, and the first use of the numbered parallel that I could find, of a numbered color parallel, sorry, was in a 1996-97 Flair set. They had a blue ice out of 250. So let me share some information here. I've got some slides that I put together. I'm going to put that in here. So yes, we're going to get a little professional here with some slides. This is going to be a very slide heavy episode, so strap in. So like I said, there were examples of companies using different color foils and such, but this seems to be the first one that I could find where there was a numbered color parallel. I feel pretty good about it, but I also, at the same time, wouldn't be surprised if somebody said, "Hey, dummy, here's one further back of an earlier numbered color parallel example." And the reason I say that is because, and maybe it's just being in present day, looking back, hindsight is 2020. But I just feel it's kind of odd that this is the first time that the numbered color parallel was put into practice, that it was just in a set of Flair. I don't know, it seems a little anticlimactic to me looking back at it. So that's why I'm kind of questioning it, but I couldn't find something to prove otherwise. So, but like SD stated in his message, the first time that O-Pee-Chee included numbered color parallels into a set was in 2002-03. But before we jump into that, to jump into that specific year, for perspective, there were other manufacturers that were doing numbered parallels years prior to O-Pee-Chee doing it. It was heavily used by many manufacturers. I found going back even into 98, 99. So I have some of those. So here's some examples of those. You've got the Bowman's Best. Everybody loves the atomic refractor here. That is the atomic refractor out of 100. You'll see there right around on the back of the card, you'll see near Gretzky's elbow. That's where the numbering parallel out of 100 was there. You also see two examples that I have here. Oh, let me hide myself here. You also see two examples here from Pacific, where Pacific Dynagon Ice, they had their base version. If you look at the bottom of the card with Timu's name, and then you have a blue ice out of 67, the foiling on his name in the bottom, and the foiling for the Dynagon Ice logo is in like a blue coloring. And on the back of that Timu Solani card, in that bottom brown, reddish brick color, you'll see the serial number 67. And then across the bottom there, we have 98, 99 Pacific Paramount. And you'll see there all the different foil versions of Peter Forsberg's name all the way across the bottom. You've got the base, you've got copper, emerald, ice blue, there's silver. Again, those pictures are a little bad in quality, but you can see the variations in the name foil across the bottom, all the way out to the right, the far right, the hollow electric out of 99. And then at the bottom, I'm just looking in here, the bottom of that card, right by the NHLPA logo, is where you're going to see the serial numbering out of 99. So these were back in 98, 99. There may have been others prior to that, but so those are examples of manufacturers using this color foiling. It started getting a little more extreme in the 90s, and then they did have these numbered parallels, not like we see today, but the numbered parallels did exist in that time frame, and there's usually like one special card when you get to the end of it there. So those are some of the varying sets that utilized it before. Let me pull up here, back to me. So to give some additional perspective too, based off of the timing, autograph cards as well as some memorabilia cards, they were being put into packs around this era. So they were a thing that existed, not nearly like we're used to today, but they did exist at this time frame in like the late 90s, early 2000s. So just to give perspective on that. So getting back to the color parallels, this, like I said, this wasn't really anything new or groundbreaking in the hobby, but for the purpose of this project that I diving into, I was originally only going to focus on the traditional parallels that were the cards that were the same design as the base set. And because that's the traditional rainbow that we know and that we usually follow today. However, as I got about halfway through this project and looking into this, as I was doing it, I felt like I was leaving a little bit of meat on the bone by excluding certain things. So there are so many other cool parallels and inserts that O-Pee-Chee does, O-Pee-Chee Platinum does, and all of them do. Tons of every manufacturer is doing inserts, but there's so many that if I left them out, I felt like that was overlooking them, and it was kind of not only doing a disservice, but it also left open the question of, well, what about the other cards in the set? So I'm kind of making this a lot bigger than I originally intended. I'm going to kind of make it all encompassing, where we talk about parallels, the color parallels that are all tied together. Plus, I'll highlight some of the additional inserts, and why not cover as much material as possible in addition to just reviewing rainbow cards, because tie it all together. Because like SD said, when you think about the color parallels or the rainbows today, I think it's safe to say that many of us think of the first one that comes to mind is O-Pee-Chee Platinum. There are other companies and not other companies, other sets that do use the practice of the color rainbows. Like the Allure is one that we use today. But I think O-Pee-Chee Platinum to me feels like it's the gold standard in the hockey hobby, and maybe I'm wrong with that, but I'm pretty sure. I think that's how most of us feel. And at the core of his question, because he mentioned seismic gold, from that, is that the first birth? Is it the birth of the seismic gold? I think that at the core of his question there, maybe I think that's what he was getting at. So that being said, I'm going to mainly focus on the primary parallels of which exist for every card and player in the set. But again, I will also discuss some of the unique inserts that exist as well, cover them. I may not cover every single insert because, for example, like I won't talk about like the rookie auto color parallels because A, they're only rookies, and B, you know the color that they exist, and C, they're kind of derivatives of the other parallels. There's the seismic golds and the violet pixels, so they are used in that manner. But going back to the core of the seismic golds, the red prisms, that type of stuff, they have these parallels, and they're also different serial numbers, just exclusive to those rookie autograph cards. So I'm not going to feature them, but if you want to know more about them, you should know that they exist, and you can look up the information on those, but they do exist. So I'm mainly going to focus on the parallels that are for all the cards in the set and the inserts. I'll touch on those because the inserts are usually smaller size. So, for example, the color parallels, if a set has 200 cards, they're going to have color parallels for all 200 cards. The inserts, they might be for only 50 or 20 or even fewer, like 5 cards in the set. And I'm also going to discuss when we jump into it the retro cards as well, because they have their own little, I guess you would call it their own mini rainbow, and they exist for if the set's 200, they exist for 100 cards. So it's half the set gets a retro card. So I figured that was still significant enough to note it and to include it because I know for myself when I'm trying to complete a rainbow, I'm not just using the base parallels. I'm actually trying to get the retros as well, including all the ones that we know and love, the black rainbow, the blank backs. So when I look at for myself as completing a rainbow, I know that the traditional sense of the term is just the color parallels that exist for all the base cards, but I kind of take it that next step farther. So I'm still going to include those for each year when we outline this as well. Let's see here. Also, with something with the retros, I will share those. Like I talked about, they exist in the sets. I'm also going to point out areas where things like the rainbow color wheel variations or pond hockey, when those make an appearance, I'll touch on them both. I maybe won't mention them in every single set that we go over, but I'll talk about when they appear, and then maybe discuss when they're not in the set. But they do exist because again, they are only for like 10 or 20 cards or so. Not a lot of players get a card in those parallels, but again, I'll mention them when they exist and feature them just to kind of share the visual. There are way too many, parallels that don't exist for a majority of the cards in the set, but it is worth mentioning it. Like I said, there are more those cards, even though they kind of tie to a player. So, for example, if you've got, I'll just take for the most recent example, this year's version of Pond Hockey for 24-25, it has a Pond Hockey for Michkov. So, if you're going to collect him or try to complete a rainbow, you're going to include that. But when only 20 players get a Pond Hockey card, it kind of falls into the classification of an insert, not necessarily a parallel. So, keep that in the back of your mind. So, when it comes to that, speaking of the topic of inserts, I want to give a definition here of what exactly an insert is to kind of show the difference between a parallel and an insert, because I do think we as a hobby tend to flip flop and use them in the wrong spaces, but it is good to get a good understanding of what they are. So, an insert card is a card that is not part of the main base set and is inserted randomly into packs. Pretty easy there, right? These cards typically feature a unique design, theme, or subset, often with different imagery, text, or card stock than the base cards. They are more rare and can be more valuable than the base cards. So, like I said, you've got some of those inserts which are more rare. There's only 20 players. The pack odds are probably much more rare. So that's what I wanted to talk about those. So you'll kind of see, you'll catch the flow here. Like I said, this is a very slide heavy driven episode because I did give examples of basically every card that we're going to talk about to kind of show the visuals of it. So Without further ado, I think we should just kind of jump into things here. Get into this deep dive, this super deep dive on O-Pee-Chee Platinum color parallels, and let's see if we can learn everything we never knew we wanted to know about O-Pee-Chee's history of the color parallels, rainbows, and a little splash of the inserts as well. So let's jump back into that. Let me bring some of these cards back here. And so, yeah, we talked about these colored parallels from other sets. So let's move along here. So as SD Hockey Cards noted in his initial question or comment, there weren't any O-Pee-Chee color parallels like we know today. Prior to this set here, this 2002-03, they had a base set, and then they had these two numbered color parallels. You have this O-Pee-Chee blue line out of 500, and then you have the O-Pee-Chee red out of 100. The pack odds that I'll mention here, the blue line was inserted into pack odds of 1 in 17 packs, and it had cards numbered through 1 to 330, and then there were 9 cards 331 to 340. They were distributed via like a redemption exchange, so it was like a 340 card set. 330, I think, traditionally, but then they had these 9 additional cards that were redemption exchange. And then for the O-Pee-Chee Premier Red out of 100, they were inserted 1 in 82 packs, and also had the same thing where there were 9 cards additional that were a redemption exchange. So blues, again, 1 out of 80, 1 out of 17. The reds were 1 out of 82. And as usual for the two brands, Topps did the same thing. They had the same cards, the same parallels, but their pack odds were just slightly different. Not much drastic, but they were slightly different pack odds for the Topps versions as well. So moving along, we have here the 0304 O-Pee-Chee set, which had the base card. And then it had these numbered color parallels. We've got the blue out of 500, which was you had a 1 in 5 pack odds. You have the red out of 100. They were 1 in 18 packs. And then the gold out of 50 was inserted 1 out of 23 packs. So this was the part he was talking about. Is this the first seismic gold? I don't buy into that theory, but everybody thinks things of gold as being that was nothing new in this hobby. Gold is always shiny and shimmery and appealing, so you call it gold. I mean, they could have called it yellow for all that mattered there, but calling it gold made it more appealing. So it gives it that good rarity. And again, Topps had the same cards in their set with just slightly different variation in their pack odds. So after this, unfortunately, that was the end of O-Pee-Chee for a couple years. So there was no O-Pee-Chee set in 2004 or 2005-06. The licensing agreement between Topps and O-Pee-Chee, the name had expired at the end of 2004. So we didn't see O-Pee-Chee for 2 years until 2006, when Upper Deck secured the rights, and it returned with this set. This is a base set, and it just had one numbered color parallel. This rainbow out of 100. There's no more Topps at this era because Topps separated. Topps was its own separate company, but Upper Deck secured O-Pee-Chee and continued on with it. There were no pack odds on a Rainbow 100. That's pretty common for serial numbered cards. So I believe that from the information I read, that this set was I don't know, people felt a little underwhelmed because of where it left off. When it was 3 years prior, it had additional rainbows, the blue and the red and the gold. And then the year before that, even, it had the red and the blue. So I think people felt maybe a little mildly underwhelmed, but it did have this rainbow out of 100. And then that kind of got it O-Pee-Chee name back out there in collectors' hands. And then after this, we have 07, 08, had the base set, and then these Micro Motion Black out of 100. Again, no pack odds on these. The serial numbering is, you can kind of see right below the stats from Madonna. That is where the serial numbering exists. This was, again, kind of their continuation, O-Pee-Chee, of the um, color numbered parallels. So after that, we get into this year, the 2008-09 set. This is had the base set. The only numbered color parallels in this set were kind of these famous the 7980 retro rainbows. Those are the only numbered parallels, but they also had um, the uh, base version, I guess you'd call it, of the 79 O-Pee-Chee retro. Um, I believe, if I'm not, I could be wrong on this, but I believe every single base card had the 7980 retro card. And then you also have the 7980 retro rainbow, which were out of 100. So this was the this was the year that I guess Upper Deck got their hand slapped for using this design. It is still such an iconic and classic design due to the Gretzky rookie year being that year. So if you don't have any of these and you really like the design, go out and get your hands on it, because we probably are never going to see this again, at least from Upper Deck and O-Pee-Chee. This was, again, they're being a little naughty that year, being a little naughty. Maybe they didn't know, but I'm also going to mention too that this same year, 08-09, there was also a release of O-Pee-Chee Premier. It was just an 84 card set. The base cards themselves in that set were serial numbered out of 299, but I didn't include that in here because those images and the numbering didn't tie into these O-Pee-Chee cards in any way. So it kind of doesn't qualify in my eyes as the official color parallel that matched the base set. But it kind of existed on its own. There was in the O-Pee-Chee Premier, there was a silver insert, but it was only like half of the set. 42 cards had a silver insert, and I believe, if I read and understood everything correctly, there was a black Spectrum card as well, and that was, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was an autoed serial numbered 1 of 1 of those cards. But it wasn't for all 84. I think it was just it was for majority of the set. It was 70 of them. So O-Pee-Chee Premier did exist on the side as well. So moving to the next year, we've got 2009 and 10 O-Pee-Chee. This is where we begin to see the makings of the variety of parallels that exist in O-Pee-Chee paper today. It's including the parallels that we see them do very frequently, and it's kind of the standard that we have. So O-Pee-Chee paper, this set it's always the large set. This is made up of 800 cards. For example, this base and the rainbow here, they are numbers 1 to 600. The pack odds were 1 in 4 packs for the rainbow, particularly. Cards 601 to 800. They were there was a couple parallels inserted into an update box set that was in 2009, 2010 O-Pee-Chee Metal Hockey. So that has that. They were inserted into that set, 910 O-Pee-Chee Metal Hockey. However, it might be hard to see on here. These cards do still say on the back. They just say the O-Pee-Chee name on the back of it. So you've got the again, you got the rainbow. You've got the retro. You've got the. Oh, let me hide my face here. There we go. Sorry. You've got the retro blank back as well, and then the retro rainbow out of 100. The retro blank back was an unannounced parallel. So obviously that was the first time we saw this. I think it's the first time, that we've seen it since it first came out here with Upper Deck bringing it back. Obviously there was old vintage ones, but let me go back to real quick. The retro, that was pack odds of 1 and 2 packs. You were going to get a retro blank backs. You didn't have any pack odds, and then retro rainbow serial numbered out of 100. there was this only existed in cards 1 to 600. So the additional cards 601 to 800 did not have a retro rainbow. Once again, on the side there was an O-Pee-Chee Premier release, had similar numbers to the previous year where it had like 84, 85 cards, and those base cards were serial numbered out of 225. But they exist on the side. They were not tied to this whatsoever into the same numbering or player ordering in their checklist. So, 2010, 2011 O-Pee-Chee. Again, we see the similar parallels that still exist today in O-Pee-Chee, but O-Pee-Chee did add the new retro black rainbow, which became the numbered parallel out of 100 here of this set. It was a 600 card set. However, their parallels were released in a year later in 2011-12 O-Pee-Chee, and those were cards 601 to 620. So technically that makes these 20 cards an insert, but they do tie into the whole parallel concept. They were released, even though they were released in 2011-12, they still state at the back on the bottom that they are part of the 2010-2011 O-Pee-Chee set. So I know today when we see that happen, it gets confusing. They're in this set, but so they were even doing this way back, way back in 2010, putting cards inserted into different sets, or maybe even a year later. So this is we've got the base version, we've got the retro, which has 1 and 2 pack odds on the retro. You've got the retro rainbow. They had 1 and 8 pack odds. Retro blank backs, they were also there. And then you've got the retro black rainbow serial numbered to 100. So they were also in this set as well. And let's see, moving along, we've got the 2011-2012 O-Pee-Chee set. Again, see the trend continuing with the similar parallels that exist still today in O-Pee-Chee. This again is a 600 card set, and we have a cool parallel here in the end, which is only for 50 cards. So I think that kind of qualifies it as an insert. So I just wanted to include that because it is the first time you see one in here, and kind of a cool name for it. So I'll talk about that. So you got the base card, you've got the rainbow, which is inserted 1 and 4 packs. You've got the black rainbow out of 100, serial number to 100. And then we've got the retro. They were inserted. Do I have pack odds? No, I don't. Sorry. So that's retro. Then you've got the retro blank back. They were inserted into Upper Deck, not O-Pee-Chee. So that's where you would find those cards. This was the first practice of that. You see that every now and again. Oh gosh, Upper Deck, like with O-Pee-Chee Glossy in today's day and age, you see those in a Upper Deck set. And then we have this on the far bottom right here. We've got this Claude. Is it Claude Giroux? Yeah, you got Giroux. This playoff beard insert. I think it's listed as like a partial parallel. There's only cards 1 to 50 got them. They had pack odds of 1 in 25. These cards have a like a silver foil stamping instead of the gold. Like if you look at the top left Lindros card, these kind of have a silver foil stamping on the front. It's a photo variation of the players having playoff beards. Now, nowhere on the card does it say playoff beards. It doesn't say it on there. That's just the name that it's listed as in the database. So, it is kind of funny as I was looking through these playoff beard cards. Yeah, they do have a lot of them, but it was funny. The last card in the set, I was going to use it as my example because he's a little more popular than, well, not popular to me, more popular to me, but to the rest of the world. I was going to use the Sidney Crosby card in this, but his playoff beard was more playoff peach fuzz. So it really didn't fall into the category. But yeah, when I was looking this up, it called this a playoff beard insert. So for any of you out there that do anything funny, that have these funny PCs where you sub PCs where you collect cards of guys with mustaches or anything funny like that, this is probably a set that you might want to look into a little farther. If it's a group of cards, there's 50 cards, and it's featuring all these guys with playoff beards, and it's exclusive to this year of what do we got? 2011, 2012 O-Pee-Chee. So keep that in mind. All right, moving along, we have 2012-13 O-Pee-Chee. Same exact parallel variety as the previous years. There is one addition here on the right, this on the bottom right, the Red Rapper Redemption mail-in parallel. That's a mouthful. So you have your base card. You've got the rainbow, which was inserted into 1 in 10 packs. Black rainbow out of 100 serial numbered. You've got the retro. They were in 1 in 2 packs. You've got the retro blank back. And then you have this Red Rapper Redemption as well. First time we saw that, but again, O-Pee-Chee um, expanding their color parallels of cards. So I wanted to make sure we included that as well, even though this was the Red Raptor Redemption was a Rapper Redemption mail-in. It still existed for all the cards in the set. And then, so yeah, that's it. Pretty simple for this one. 2013-14, same thing, same exact parallel variety as the previous year. You've got the base, you've got the rainbow, which were a little harder. Where's the rainbow? Yeah, I called it retro. Sorry, at the top there, that middle card should be rainbow. Sorry, not retro. So you got base, you've got rainbow, which was 1 in 4 hobby packs. Then you've got black rainbow out of 100. Then you've got on the bottom left here with Pavel Bure, you've got the retro, which was those were 1 in 2 pack odds. Let's see here. Then you have let's see here. It says the update set 601 to 642 were inserted into packs of 2013-14 Upper Deck, and they were listed as an insert within that set. So parallel here, insert into another set. So now you've got the moving along here in the middle, bottom middle, you get the retro blank back. And again, over on the far right, second year in a row of the Red Rapper Redemption. So yeah, this is kind of, they're stretching their legs, using more examples of color parallels to the cards in their set. So that's the end of the O-Pee-Chee portion of this, because the next year we're kind of getting into moving along to the premiere, the debut, the inaugural season of what we've been kind of waiting for, tying this all together into 2014-15 O-Pee-Chee Platinum. Makes its appearance. We finally get to the product that we've kind of been investigating here during this process. So this checklist comprised of 200 cards, and we can see many of the colors that still exist today. They were pretty standard. We also have in this set, there's 4 sets of limited retro inserts, I call those. So I'm going to touch on them as well, because like I mentioned before, the retro inserts, if you're completing a rainbow, if your player's got a retro insert, I still think you're going to try to complete that. So for the purposes of, discussing rainbows and parallels and varying colors, I'm going to include that going forward in all of these as well. So we have our base card here. I didn't include the picture, but we have base cards. Then you've got the rainbow, which it's still funny. I specifically used Marty Brodeur for the majority of these because it's still weird seeing him in a Blues uniform. So rainbows were inserted 1 in 4 packs. They also had 1 in 7 in the retails and blasters. Tracks were inserted into 1 in 20 packs. So there's tracks in there. It looks like the tire tracks as well. White Ice had the serial number. I think it was out of 199 there. Yeah, serial number out of 199. And then Red Prism, they were serial numbered 135. Then you've got in the bottom left there, you've got Blue Cubes, serial numbered out of 65. Then we have Seismic Gold, It's been there since the beginning, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Seismic gold out of 50. It stayed at that numbering, serial numbering. Then you have black ice out of 25. And then after that, you've got the Golden Treasures, serial numbered 101. That picture is of Scott Darling, if you can't tell or are not familiar with the player. I will say that, unfortunately, I was kind of limited based off of some of the cards that I could share based off of what was available to borrow a picture of to share. And some of them were not good quality. So I also tried to find the best quality picture that I could. So, for example, with the Seismic Gold, you're stuck seeing my Couturier because it's the better picture. Brodeur didn't have one. And then for the Golden Treasures here, we used the Scott Darling, since I think that may have been the only one that was pictured there. So, and then we have here the 14-15 O-Pee-Chee Platinum retro inserts. They were inserted into. They were only out of 100 cards. They were only 100 of these cards, so it was half the set got a retro card. You have the retro, which was inserted into 1 in 4 packs. The retro rainbow was 1 in 20 packs. The retro red rainbow, serial numbered out of 160, and then the retro black out of 100 was also in this set as well. So these kind of carried along from O-Pee-Chee paper, having the retros, having the black or rainbows out of 100. So wanted to make sure we include those. And that's kind of how this all ties back to O-Pee-Chee paper in the first place. Still carrying along some of their practices from other years in the set. So this is where we get into some of the cool inserts. I wanted to include these just for the sake of, if we're covering O-Pee-Chee Platinum, may as well talk about these as well, even though they may not be tied exactly to every single card in the 200 card set. But we've got and again, forgive the pictures, the white borders. These are all die cuts, so the white border doesn't exist on the card. It's just that's how I saved the photos, and I honestly didn't feel like taking the time to crop all the white stuff off there. So these are available in packs, and they also both have they all have, I think, an autographed parallel, if I'm not mistaken. You've got the Legend die cuts, which was 20 cards. They were pack odds of, actually all of these cards were pack odds of 1 in 60. Then you have the Stanley Cup champs die cuts. Again, another 20 card insert. And then you have the Superstar die cuts, which, again, another 20 card insert, same pack odds, 1 in 60. So that's the cool inserts from their inaugural year of O-Pee-Chee Platinum. So if you're interested in getting cards from some of these manufacturers' inaugural debuts, you can load up on some of these as well. So wanted to point those out. Pretty cool inserts. They were very die cut heavy. So the next one, year 2 of O-Pee-Chee Platinum. This is only 190 total cards. They've added a few more parallels to this. This is where we see Emerald Surge come into play, and Purple. They make their appearance as a color parallel. I will say that this set was extremely confusing, not having been a collector back in this era. Going back, reading up some of the information, I think they kind of, I don't know, call me crazy, but I think they got a little too cute for the room, so to speak, because these color parallels some of them have multiple serial number options for the same parallel. It's very confusing. I'll try to slow it down in those sections to talk about it and outline it, but it was annoying when I was doing this, following the pattern of everything else, to all of a sudden have this come up. So yeah, these were distributed as one series. It was cards 1 to 190. The Legends, they fell into there 151 to 160. The legend cards had 1 in 40 pack odds. And also, I should mention too, the rookie autograph cards begin to appear in this set as well. I won't highlight them, I won't share them, but they begin to appear in this set as well in 2014, 2015, 16. They also had the limited retros of just 100 cards as well, so we'll get to those. But so we had the base card of the set, and then you obviously have the rainbow. So let me see if I explain this. The rainbow cards number 1 to 150 out of the 190, they were inserted. They were 1 in 5 pack odds for hobby boxes, 1 in 10 from retail and blasters. And then cards 151 to 160, which were legends, they were 1 in 160 pack odds. And then even more rare, 1 in 600 retail and blaster packs. So that's up to 160. Cards numbered 161 to 190, they had pack odds. They were even harder to get still. No, actually, they were a little bit easier. They were 1 in 140 packs and 1 in 400 retail and blaster packs. And it should also note here that cards number 167 and 186 do not exist in this set. So I will make note of that in this rainbow set. So that is card number 167. So sorry to all of you Nick Shore fans. He doesn't have a rainbow card, and neither does the bread man, Artemi Panarin. He does not have a rainbow card as well. So little confusion, probably a production error. I don't know what happened there, but they don't have those. Now, Trax has some cards that have no serial number, and they have others that do have a serial number. Trying to see if this one has it on the back there. Image is too small for me to make out. But for Trax, again, cards to 150, cards to 1 to 150, they had pack odds like 1 in 10. Then you get more challenging for some of the other cards. 1 in 320 pack odds for cards 151 to 160, which again think were the legends. If I stated that earlier, again, this is actually card number 171. Nick Cousins was inserted into these packs of 2016-17. Little confusing. He is listed as an insert. That one, card number 167, Nick Shore, 186, Artemi Panarin, 187, Noah Hannafin, and 189, Max Domi. Poor Max Domi, though. None of those guys, those cards don't exist in this parallel. So, any of you fans of those players, you aren't. If you're into those players, you're not going to get a Trax version of those cards. Again, I'm not sure what happened. It seems like there probably was some production errors or issues. Again, especially when you have this total set is listed at 190 cards, not 200. So that's definitely clearly a trend you're going to see with these other parallels. White Ice, they were serial numbered out of 199 and 99. This was, again, there was a few faux pas with the production. Cards 167, 186, 187, 189. That's all the guys I listed before: Nick Shore, Panarin, Noah Hannafin, and Max Domi. They do not exist in White Ice parallels. So maybe you're a fan of those players and you've been banging your head trying to figure out why they're not in there. Seems like a production error. I don't know. We've got Red Prism. Those were serial numbered out of 149 and 175. Same scenario before. Those 4 cards don't exist in this parallel. You've got Black Ice. They had a parallel out of 190 or out of 99 and one out of 50. They were in this set as well. And again, those poor 4 players did not exist in this parallel. Then we get over to Blue Cubes. That was out of 75 and out of 35 serial numbering. They were in hobby packs and let's see here. Let's see. Hobby pack serial numbered to 75 for cards number 150, 1 to 150. And then for cards 151 to 190, they were in hobby packs and serial numbered out of 35. So that's where the confusion comes in. So you've got, it's usually the lower numbers 1 to 150 has the higher serial numbering, and then cards 151 to 190. So it's that 40 cards. Those have the lower serial numbering. And then for blue cubes, my apologies to the Nick Shore family. His card does not exist in this set. And then we've got Seismic Gold out of 50 and 25. Again, cards 1 to 150. Those were the serial numbered out of 50. And then the 151 card to 190, they were serial numbered out of 25. And in these Seismic Golds, no Nick Shore and no Artemi Panarin. This is where, let's move it along here. We've got the purple parallel. They were out of 25 and out of 15. Again, it's one card. One card doesn't exist. And I believe that was 186. That was who's that? Panarin. Yeah, Panarin's not in this set. He doesn't have a purple parallel. Emerald Surge, which to me, not quite emeraldy. It's a little more like a lime green Surge, if you ask me. They were serial numbered out of 10. Let's see here. Let's see. Not that there's too many fans. I don't think I'm going to offend the Nick Shore fans in this set, but they were into packs of 2016-17. So, and card 167 does not exist in this parallel. So that's another. There was definitely some major manufacturing faux pas going on. And then moving along, you got the Golden Treasures 101. You've got those. There's some cards that don't exist in this set, like all the same players as before. Card number 163, 167, 171 do not exist in this parallel. So hopefully there's no completist player collectors out there trying to get those cards, because they just didn't happen in this set. So that's very, very confusing. This set was annoying to me. I'm sorry to say. It was so annoying going over and trying to sort through the weird scenario that they put in here with, certain cards coming in at 50 serial numbers, then others at 25. It was not fun at all. So let's move on here and get to the next one, these retros. The retro card was inserted. There was 3 and 10 pack odds. And then you have the retro rainbow. I love this design of Gretzky. I don't know what it is. The yellow and green flip-flopped hologram on the back there does not match his jersey whatsoever, but for some reason I do like it. They were inserted into 1 and 20 pack odds. Then you've got the retro gold rainbow, serial numbered out of 149. And then you get down here at the bottom left. Let me hide myself just to get rid of me. I don't want to interfere with Scory Perry, the most cursed man in Stanley Cup history. His retro orange rainbow out of 49, you'll see there. And then you've got the Phil Kessel, the opposite of Corey Perry, one of the most lucky men in Stanley Cup history. Phil Kessel, his retro red rainbow, serial numbered out of 15. And then some of the inserts to discuss here. These are pretty cool. You've got the Superstar die cut. You've got was that Mike Bossy there. Pretty cool card. Has like I don't know, it's a weird shape, like a tall stop sign type thing. That's the Superstar die cuts. There was 18 cards in this set, and they had a pack odds of 1 in 37. Then you've got this Hartford Whalers, Ronnie Francis. What a card. These team logo die cuts. They had 36 cards in this set. They were inserted 1 in 9 pack odds. And if you like vintage or retro hockey, take a look at these. There's some Quebec Nordiques die cuts. They got these Hartford Whalers cards. Very cool. This probably was, I hazard a guess that Phil's probably got a bunch of these just because of these retro franchises in here. So very cool set. I'm going to be going back and looking for a few of these myself. That's the problem. I will say, editing note here. That is one of the problems of doing something like this. When you dive into a set like this, usually you find about half a dozen to a dozen cards that you were now all of a sudden interested in, you want to go back and get. So, um, yeah, that's on my list. These team logo die cuts, I'm going to be going in and probably some of the other ones. So, let's see. And then over here on the far right, we've got the Trophy Talent die cuts. That was a 10 card insert. Very cool. There's Patrick Waugh with his wait, that's the Conn Smythe. Yes, that's the Conn Smythe trophy. Um, so 10 card set. Those were inserted into 1 in 66 packs for the Trophy Talent die cuts. So love those inserts. Pretty cool die cuts. Now we're moving into 2016-17. So we're now perspective wise. This is year 3 for O-Pee-Chee Platinum. Set went back to a total of 200 cards, not the 190 from the year before. And I think Upper Deck must have realized the absolute. I can't even imagine what it was like back in 15, 16, but the absolute confusion that was created from those parallels having 2 different numbers, because it looks like Upper Deck went back to just having the one serial number, and it alone stayed for every single card that was in the set. So they righted the ship, simplified things once again. They did reduce the number of parallels in this set. I think they went from 10 down to 9. This is where Rainbow Color Wheels comes in, and Rainbow Orange. They make their debut. And Tracks and Blue Cubes both get a slight name revision. And Black Ice and White Ice are both retired here. They disappeared from the production run, and I don't think we've seen them since. No, we don't. I don't recall even moving forward. They don't. We haven't had those since this year. So to go along with Rainbow Color Wheel, we do see an insert here. And I'll talk about it. The Rainbow Color Wheel photo variation is also first launched into this set. It is issued with just 10 cards via e-pack. They do have on the back, it will say slightly confusing. That does just say Rainbow Color Wheel on the back of those 10 cards. That's printed on the back. You can see on the back of the McDavid there, right along the bottom black border there, it says Rainbow Color Wheel. However, to signify the photo variation, the card number starts with the prefix of PV dash and then the card number. So keep an eye out for those. But there's a picture of the Rainbow Color Wheel and then the photo variation, just to show you what they do with them, since this is when they come into play here. So we've got the rainbow that's inserted 1 in 4 pack odds for the rainbow. We've got ice blue Tracks. It is no longer a numbered parallel. It is 1 in 10 pack odds. And for that one, for ice blue Tracks, we've got Red Prism out of 199. Yeah, there you go, Red Prism, which I think that one maintains the 199 from here on out. So then again, at the bottom here, we've got Rainbow Color Wheel. They are issued in e-packs, and then obviously the Rainbow Color Wheel photo variation is in e-pack as well. I believe that was it's a 10 card insert. I believe it's an achievement card as well. So that's where you can see the two. Oh, I should hide myself. So you can. There you go. I'm blocking the Rainbow Color Wheel. So yeah, you can see that they've got the photo variation of the 2 cards there. Let's see here. Moving along, we've got Royal Blue Cubes gets its name. I believe Royal Blue. I believe Blue Cubes was knighted and became Royal Blue Cubes. That was serial numbered out of 99. You've got Seismic Gold, everybody's favorite, out of serial numbered still out of 50. Rainbow Orange. We're getting the coloring is a little bit better. This is the first time we're seeing the orange parallel here, the color parallel. Um, didn't quite make the name change yet, but back then it was called Rainbow Orange. And it is serial numbered out of 25. And then Emerald Surge, again, the emeralding, the coloring of it is still not quite there yet on the Shane Gostisbehere card here. Emerald Surge, serial numbered out of 10. And then, of course, you've got Aaron Ekblad there in the Golden Treasures, 1 of 1. The pretty standard, the gold standard of Golden Treasured 101 parallels. So now moving on to the limited parallels. These again, it's always 100 cards, so half the set got a retro card. You've got the retro rainbow of Yarmir Yager there. It is 1 in 20 pack odds. The retro gold rainbow out of 149 there, Johnny Hockey. There's that one as well. You've got the retro orange rainbow out of 49. And then the Konechny retro red rainbow out of 15. So those are the retro inserts. And then moving into the O-Pee-Chee Platinum inserts, we have the NHL logo crest die cuts. So again, ignore the white bordering around the card there. That is a die cut card. It is a 15 card set, inserted 1 in 15 pack odds. And then you've got the Platinum Phenoms die cuts, 25 card set with the pack odds of 1 in 27. The Puck Persona die cut, bottom left there, 15 card set, and it had 1 in 22 pack odds. And then here we have a doozy. It is the Platinum VIP Black. This is the an Upper Deck E-Pack Achievement 24 card set. I will mention that there is also a 6 card VIP Black Auto set. I will read to you later in a future series of what collectors had to do to get these achievement cards. You may already be slightly familiar. I will say that it's crazy the hoops you had to jump through for these. But I got to say, I feel like it's a little bit worth it. Those are some pretty cool looking cards, that Black VIP. I think I don't know, when we associate Black VIP and gold, it's kind of like the credit cards that we had in the day. You got the gold card, you get the black card, platinum. So these are all catch terms that are infer rarity. So, but these Black VIP cards, this is another one. I'm going to say this is another one over here, the Black VIP, that is a card that's this deep dive is going to cost me money. I'm going to be going back, trying to find some of these. I did take a look into them. They are they're pricey. They are, however, like the Gretzky's are ridiculous pricey from what I've seen, a few of them, but I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled for some of those and looking through the checklist. So know that these Platinum VIP Black cards exist. If they appeal to you, look them up. Maybe you didn't notice them because they are an E-Pack card, but they are out there waiting out there for you to dive into them. So let's move on here to 2017-18. For time period perspective, this is year 4 for O-Pee-Chee Platinum. It is, you see the pattern kind of continue with the total number of cards being 200. O-Pee-Chee maintained the same number of color parallels as they did the year before. Violet Pixels makes its debut, but gone is Ice Blue Tracks. And we also see Rainbow Orange gets a name change to the name that we are familiar with today, and it becomes Orange Checkers. So here's some of the cards that you're familiar with, and we go along in this rainbow color parallel. We've got obviously the rainbow, and then we have the rainbow color wheel, which was EPAC as well. Violet Pixels, again, like I said, makes its debut. We've got Red Prism, serial numbered to 199. You've got Retro Blue Rainbow. Oh, these were cards here. These Retro Blue Rainbows are in this set. I forget what my note was missing on these. So anyway, we'll come back to these. These Retro Blue Rainbows out of 149, and then we had a Retro Rainbow as well. In 2017-18, here we go. Retro, we've got Royal Blue Cubes out of 99. Then we have Seismic Gold out of 50. And Orange Checkers gets its name change from Orange Rainbow to Orange Checkers. That is serial numbered out of 25, which it still maintains today. Emerald Surge looking a lot nicer, a little more brilliant green. Not as light. Doesn't have that yellow green hue. It's more of an emerald, true emerald color. So Emerald Surge there, serial numbered out of 10. And then you've got the Golden Treasures of Matt Zuccarello, serial numbered 101 Golden Treasures. So then we have here the retros. Again, I accidentally included these two colors in the previous slide. So now they're over here where they should be in the retro cards, linked to the retro cards. So these are, again, limited. Only 100 cards have these. So it is half the set. You've got the retro. You've got the retro rainbow. You've got the retro blue rainbow out of 149. And then you have the retro green rainbow, serial numbered out of 49. And then this is the first appearance of retro golden treasures, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go back here. Yep. This is the first appearance of the retro golden treasures 1 of 1. So the retro cards were like, oh yeah, parallels, the normal parallels. We're going to have a golden treasures too. So they have theirs as well. And next we've got these are the inserts that were available this year that were kind of new, cool designs. So what I have photoed sharing here, these are all Pulsar versions of the cards, but know that there are regular versions of this card as well. But I wanted to share the Pulsar parallels. So you do have a Destined for Glory, and then you've got this Destined for Glory Pulsar. So they carry each other over. They are 15 cards in the set. You've got the Platinum Records, and then there's also, like I said, here's the featuring of the Platinum Records Pulsar, another 15 card set. And then down the bottom, we have In Action, and I'm featuring here the In Action Pulsar. That is a 25 card set. And then in the far right, we still have there, again, such an appealing looking card, the VIP Black Upper Deck EPAC Achievement card. It is a set of 24 cards. There is also a 3-card auto version of these VIP Black cards. They're very limited. I'm assuming it was an extremely rare EPAC achievement to get those one of those 3 auto cards in VIP Black. And you might ask, who are those 3 lucky players? I'll tell you, it is Jonathan Toews, Marty Brodeur, and Connor McDavid have a VIP Black auto card. So I imagine those are going to be pretty pricey, if you ask me. So just a guess, but if you're into those players, Louis, there's a Marty Brodeur VIP Black auto. You might want to put that on your radar, buddy, and check it out. But check it out. And so there's the inserts for those for 2017, 2018. All right, moving along, we have 2018, 2019. This is year 5 for O-Pee-Chee Platinum. Upper Deck did maintain the 8 different parallels released in the packs. Rainbow Color Wheel was a mail-in set. I think that's basically just an e-pack set. So that brings a grand total of the to 9 parallels that covers all 200 cards in the set. We see Royal Blue Cubes sent to the retirement home, and Arctic Freeze makes its debut in this year's set. So here we have the rainbow, and then you've got Violet Pixels. It's still not a serial numbered card set or parallel yet. You got Rainbow Color Wheel in the bottom left there, which that's such a cool looking card. I don't know. For some reason, that one stands out more to me. Maybe it's more appealing because it's got Gretzky on it, but that's the Rainbow Color Wheel. You've got Red Prism there, serial numbered out of 199. And then over there on the right, bottom right, is Arctic Freeze. It makes its debut appearance. It's serial numbered out of 79, which we know today changes. So a little bit of a strange number there, 79. But we know what it gets to when eventually it becomes modern days as it gets into more current years. You've got Seismic Gold. It's still there, serial numbered out of 50. Orange Checkers, serial numbered out of 25. And then here we're all going to get Ryan. We're all going to get O'Reilly'd here with the Emerald Surge, serial numbered out of 10, and the Golden Treasures, 1 of 1, Ryan O'Reilly, kind of carrying on that Gong Show joke reference throughout history here. There's those as well. Now we get into the limited retro designs again. Retro cards are only 100 cards in the set. We've got the retro, you've got the retro rainbow, which, and then you've got the retro blue rainbow out of 149. And you've got the retro houndstooth, serial numbered out of 25. And then you've got retro golden treasures, 1 of 1, obviously. Yeah, the retros, it looks like they all stayed horizontal this year, kind of continuing that old trend from these actually kind of look like those the Bobby Orr year with the television sets, minus the television, so just kind of gives off that vibe. So, but there's the retros and all their parallels in this setup of 2018-19. And then here we have the inserts. I will mention, going back a second, the Rainbow Color Wheel is still around. It is an e-pack achievement. So I just didn't have it pictured there, but the photo variation, Rainbow Color Wheel still exists. And then we have the inserts. We have, I will mention, these inserts were available as their standard form, and they also have a mosaic parallel. So a couple last series you saw me share the Pulsar versions. These are e-pack exclusive cards. So these mosaic versions of these cards are e-pack exclusive. So we have, but these cards were inserted into packs. You've got In Action. It's a 25 card set. These net magnets. It's an insert of 15 cards. This was really cool. I've already gone and picked up a few of them. I didn't have any of them. This kind of reminds me of a video game cover, if you ask me. Maybe a poster from your room. But those are kind of cool designs. I really like those. They weren't expensive. The mosaics get a little pricey, but the base versions of this, the net magnets and these others, not expensive in any way, shape, or form. So if you like the design, you don't have any, you should check them out. You've got the Future Is Now. It is an insert 15 card set. And then, of course, here is the VIP Black is still around, still an e-pack achievement set. It's 28 cards in this set. It is probably, again, you've got to jump through some hoops. I'm going to talk about it in a future version here, but just know that it exists as an e-pack achievement in this set here. 2019-20. We have year 6. This is year 6 of O-Pee-Chee Platinum, and it's definitely running strong now. As usual, it's 200 card set. Upper Deck jacked up the parallels to 11 different parallels in here. Rainbow color wheel stayed on an E-Pack. So that's basically technically a total of 12 parallels in this set. Here we see Matte Pink and Sunset make their debut, as well as Pond Hockey comes out here, and it's an unannounced set. So we'll get to that one. But starting things off here, we've got the Rainbow parallel. We've got the Matte Pink parallel. We've got Rainbow Color Wheel on the right of Pasternak. Bottom left is the first appearance of Sunset. We've got Violet Pixels goes to $3.99. I think this was the first time, or you changed its serial numbering pattern, so it's $3.99. We've got Red Prism out of $1.99. And there's that. And then we've got Arctic Freeze out of 99. Seismic Gold stays at 50. Orange Checker stays at 25. And Emerald Surge is the serial numbered out of 10. And then, of course, you've got the Golden Treasures, 1 of 1 in the parallel set. So here we've got, what is this? This is 5. At 6, there's 11 different parallels there. And if you include the base, you got 12. So it's a lot. It's a pretty, for us hockey collectors, it's a pretty large color parallel. Now here we've got the retro designs, the limited. I call them the limited parallels. It's again 100 cards in the set. You've got the retro, which was a 1 in 3 pack odds. The retro rainbow was 1 in 20 pack odds. Then you have the retro blue rainbow out of 149. You've got the retro green houndstooth out of 15. And then, of course, now there's the retro golden treasures, 1 of 1 there as well. Again, here's the rare inserts. Again, Pond Hockey makes its premiere debut. It is back then it was also an unannounced parallel. There are 20 cards in the set. We have the Pond Hockey Green. It is also 20 cards in the set. And you'll notice here, it might be hard to see, but right on the back of the card, underneath the ribbon banner of Austin Matthews' name, you'll see that it doesn't say Pond Hockey. It's kind of hard. It says Pack Wars. So this was it says Pack Wars. It doesn't call it Pond Hockey. The one on the left there does say Pond Hockey. The center green Pond Hockey card says Pack Wars for what it's printed on the back of the card. Then move along here. I should mention for these cards, these next 4 cards, they also have a mosaic parallel, an E-Pack, if I'm not mistaken. So best in the world, 15 card set, pack odds of 1 in 15. We've got Calder Front Runners. Calder Front Runners. It's a 15 card set where it had a pack odds of 1 in 22 packs. And Thrilling Finishes, 25 cards. It is a 1 in 27 pack odds for that as well. Now let's get into it with these VIP Black E-Pack Achievement cards. I've teased it long enough. But here's where I'm going to explain what collectors had to do to get these achievement cards. Reason, like I said, I'm doing it here versus all the previous years that these existed in the set is because this is the first time that I saw it actually spelled out. So I didn't want to make presumptions and misspeak on the same type of a setup, but you can follow along here, and I'm going to try to not make it as confusing. Saying it and hearing it's going to maybe sound confusing, but you're going to see how difficult this task was. But I'm sure you can imagine it was probably similar tasks in the prior years. I just don't know the exact, do this to get that. But this is one that was spelled out here for 2019-20. So in order to get one of these 28 VIP black cards. Again, this is an e-pack achievement. If you redeem a complete 100 card retro set, you would receive card number 1. So that let's see here, the 100 card retro set. So that's the top left here of Matthews. You got the complete set of those in e-pack. You would get the card number 1 of the VIP black achievement card. Redeem a complete 200 card rainbow parallel set to receive cards 2 through 4. Okay, so again, the complete rainbow parallels, the complete 200 cards rainbow parallel to get cards 2, 3, and 4. The next redemption is complete a 200 card matte pink parallel set to receive cards 5 through 9. Again, you're following a trend here. It seems like a lot of effort for not a big payoff. Unless those cards were really easy to get in e-pack, it seems like a lot of effort for a little return, I guess. Moving on after that one, after the matte pink one. So to get the next redemption, you have to complete the 100 card retro rainbow parallel set to receive cards 10 through 14. So there's that one as well. So now you're doing all this work, and right now you've got 14 cards. The next redemption is complete a 200 card red prism parallel set to receive cards 15 through 19. And the following one after that, if you redeem a complete 100 card retro blue parallel to receive cards 20 to 24. So that's going back to tying in all these different parallels. The matte pink in the middle there. If you completed some of these sets in the e-pack, you would get, you took a lot to get these 24 cards. Now, again, I said there was 28 cards in this set. Here's where the race comes in. The first 5 collectors to redeem a complete 24 card VIP set will receive cards 25 through 28. So there's the race, right? The next 6 collectors to redeem the complete 24 card VIP set will receive cards 25 through 27. So the first 5 to get it done get all of them, cards 25, 26, 27, 28. The next 6 just get cards 25 through 27. They don't get that last card. And then the final 10 collectors to complete the 24 card set, they're going to get just card number 25. So it leaves some people wanting. So let's see. So you got 5 collectors, then 6 collectors, that's 11. And then 10 more, that's 21. So 21 people got these sets, it looks like, the first ones to get them. So I will mention too, so this picture on the bottom right of Giroux, pretty cool looking card with that gold border. It looks like an old timey, I don't know, like a movie marquee, if you ask me. But that one, I will mention that there is also a VIP red set, which is listed as a Pack Wars prize. They are serial numbered out of 50. It is just 12 cards. I just realizing I forgot to include a photo of it. So, just envision 12 cards. Just envision this VIP, this VIP black card, but just picture it in your mind with a red background. So, I imagine those are out there for sale. If they are, I think those are probably going to be extremely pricey since they are serial numbered out of 50. So there you go. So that's all those there. So before I continue on with this dive here into the universe of, let me remove this, into the universe of O-Pee-Chee. I'm going to do something a little selfish here for 2019, since we're talking about 2019, 2020. Let me pull this up here. Is that going to work? Nope, 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 nope. We're just going to go like this. There we go. We'll put me down here. So I'm going to do something selfish here. This is 2019-20 is a special set to me because I'm trying to complete what I refer to as like the mega rainbow. I guess you could call it a double rainbow, since I want to complete it in O-Pee-Chee paper and O-Pee-Chee platinum. But I'm trying to get every card of O-Pee-Chee paper and O-Pee-Chee platinum of my favorite player, Sean Couturier. And the one card that I am short is annoyingly embarrassing. It is a somewhat meaningless paper parallel. So I'm doing this to put out the bat signal to all of you. It is this 2019-20 O-Pee-Chee Gold glossy border of card number 287. I'm having a hard time finding it, and I think it's because it's so insignificant or meaningless based off of the fact that it's Couturier. Doesn't have a huge fan base. These are probably sitting in people's junk boxes. I'm going to be quite honest. That's why I think I haven't seen one. The last time one of these was sold was in April of 2022, and it went for a whopping $3.13. So, not expensive in any way, shape, or form. That card went before I was chasing this card back in April 2022. I was in the hobby, but I was probably just 4 or 5 months into it. Didn't have a reason to chase it at that time. So now I want to say that I'm not asking for this card for free. I will gladly pay someone more than fair market value for it. I just need to find someone who has it and someone who'd part with it. So if you feel so inclined and you've done your proper behind the bench homework from previous episodes where you followed some of my advice and you've sorted through all your junk cards and you sorted them by team, if you wouldn't mind doing me a solid to look through all your flyers and go to that flyers section and just flip through, see if you have this card. If you have it and you would part with it, I will happily buy it and I will name my next kid after you. So if I ever have one, which is not happening, but I'll happily buy the card, name my next kid after you. So yeah, so there's my little stab at some self-indulgence to interrupt this. We interrupt this O-Pee-Chee Platinum deep dive to bring you this public service announcement. So if you happen to have this card, if you want to do Irish a solid and hit me up, let me know. Take a peek for it. I'd really, really appreciate it. It is so annoyingly insignificant, this card. It's just, yeah, I'm chasing a $4 card, a $3 card. So anyway, let's get back to the chase here. We just discussed, we wrapped up 2019-20, and we're going to move along here to 2020-21. This is year 7 of O-Pee-Chee Platinum, and it's running strong. As usual, this is a 200 card set. Upper Deck increased the pack odds. Upper Deck increased the parallels. Rainbow Color Wheel is still here. It is an e-pack mail card, so it brings it to there were 16 different parallels in this, and then with Rainbow Color Wheel, that's 17. And then go along and you include the limited parallels where we talk about the retros. That brings us up to 25 parallels in this set. That's due in part because we have some cards make their first appearance. We've got Aquamarine, Blue Surge, and Red Surge. They are the first time that we see these specific retailer exclusive parallels appear. Cosmic, Neon Yellow Surge, and Yellow Tracks, they all make their debuts in this set. So it is a loaded set full of parallels. So let's jump into this. And let me hide myself here. You don't need me in here because I'm covering the cards. So we've got the rainbow card. Everybody knows that. It's 1 in 4 pack odds. You've got matte pink at 1 in 20 pack odds. There is the rainbow color wheel, still the e-pack. Let's see here. What do I have here? Collect and combine. I'll talk about the e-pack for these. Collect and combine 10 copies of any 2019-20 O-Pee-Chee Platinum Hockey Base Card Set 1 to 150, or the Marquee Rookies 151 to 200 on e-pack to receive an exclusive rainbow color wheel of that card, where you have the ability to have a physical card mailed to you. So a lot of steps to get this rainbow color wheel. My advice, just look for it on ComC. It is there and they are cheap. So save yourself the trouble and just go get the card. They are on eBay. They are on ComC all day, every day of the week. Now, again, we have Sunset is here. I think it's the second year of having Sunset. They had 1 in 10 pack odds. And then we have our Blue Surge, which is the Walmart Blaster Pack exclusive. The blue tying to blue in Walmart. You've got the Red Surge, the red tied to Target. This is the Target Blaster Pack exclusive parallel. And then we have the Neon Yellow Surge, which is the first time we see this. This Neon Yellow Surge is the mass market Blaster Pack exclusive card parallel, the Neon Yellow Surge. We have the premiere, the rookie debut of Josh's favorite insert of all time. I know you think he says, I know everybody he talks about O-Pee-Chee. He's just putting on a good face. It is Aquamarine out of $4.99. That is Josh's favorite insert or parallel of all time. Actually, you know what? Yeah, this would be his favorite parallel. His favorite insert, sure, that's O-Pee-Chee. So Aquamarine is Josh's favorite parallel. Aquamarine makes its rookie debut at $4.99. Then we have Violet Pixels at $3.99. Yellow Tracks at $2.49 serial number. Red Prism at $1.99. We're still going. Arctic Freeze out of $99. And then if we keep moving along, we've got, oh, good Lord, they continue. We've got Cosmic out of $65. Seismic Gold out of $50. Orange Checkers is there at $25. Emerald Surge out of $10. And then wrapping it in, bringing it home out of 16 or 17 parallels we discussed here. Golden Treasures, 1 of 1. That's a lot. They put a lot of new cards into this set. As we talked about at the beginning, you've got the Neon Yellow Surge, Aquamarine, Blue Surge, Red Surge. So a lot of new cards in this set, extending the parallels. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think this year, 2020 to 21, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is the largest parallel set that O-Pee-Chee Platinum ever had to date. Okay, especially when you include these. You've got the retro parallels as well. Again, same as always, these are only 100 cards of the set. So you've got the retro, which had 3 in 10 pack odds. You've got the retro rainbow, 1 in 20 pack odds. There is the retro blue rainbow, serial numbered out of 149. The bottom left there of Nico Hishar, the retro seismic pink out of 100. These were in blaster packs. It looks like, I think here, limited to 100 cards, inserted into 1 in 100 blaster packs. So that's the way you got the seismic pink back in the day from packs. The retro purple houndstooth, serial numbered out of 15. And then you've got the retro golden treasures, 1 of 1 there as well. So moving on to the inserts that we have the, I will say that these were available in packs, and all of these have a parallel and a mosaic, an autograph parallel and a mosaic. So best in the world, 15 cards inserted, 1 into 15 packs. You've got photo driven here that looks like the film strip. Pretty cool design for this first card. 25 card set inserted into 1 in 27 packs. Pond hockey is unannounced once again. As unannounced, as well as Premier is a 40 card unannounced insert as well. And then we have Sweet Selections, which is a 15 card insert, 1 in 22 pack odds for these Sweet Selections. So moving along into the next year, 21-22. This is year 8 for O-Pee-Chee Platinum. And if you've seen the cards here on the screen, I think you know this one. This is when O-Pee-Chee Platinum hits a snag in probably its most controversial or most unfortunately disliked year. I call this the miscut year. Manufacturing issues caused mass miscutting of the cards, which really dampened collectors' interest in this staple series. Didn't ruin it entirely, but I know the chatter back then was people were saying that they didn't like it, they weren't going to buy it because of the problems and issues with the miscutting. So the set did increase. Maybe this is the reason why there was some miscuts, but the set increased 30%, I guess. They went from 200 cards to 300 cards. And then Upper Deck also increased the impact parallels to 15 parallels as well. We still have Rainbow Color Wheel holding on, as well as the photo variation. And let's see here, you got that. And then you also have our limited parallels in the retros. Hot Magma is the first time it makes its debut here in this series, 21-22. Aquamarine and Yellow Tracks do disappear from the lineup as well. So some cards get, I guess, what do they call it? Twilighted, or not retired, but twilighted. So getting to this, you've got the Rainbow card. It is 1 in 3 pack odds for those. You've got Matte Pink for 1 in 9 pack odds. Rainbow Color Wheel exists for all 300 cards in the set. The E-Pack achievement for those. You've got, let me take me out of there. There we go. You've got Sunset, 1 in 6 pack odds for a Sunset card. You have Blue Surge. It is inserted 1 in 3 in the Walmart blaster packs. So we still have these retailer exclusive. You've got the Red Surge, the Target exclusive, same thing, 1 in 3 Target blaster packs for those. You've got, moving on here to Neon Yellow Surge. They were, same thing, 1 in 3 pack odds in the rest of the retail mass blaster packs. And here's the first premiere of Hot Magma at $4.99 serial numbering. You've got Violet Pixels, goes to serial number 299. You have Red Prism, serial numbered out of 199. Arctic Freeze, serial numbered out of 99, stays steady there. Cosmic out of 65. Seismic Gold out of 50. Orange Checkers out of 25. We get Ryan O'Reilly again here with Emerald Surge out of 10. And then the Golden Treasures 1 of 1 serial number as well. So there's those. In the limited parallels of the retro cards, we've got the retro, which is 1 in 2 packs. Retro Rainbow is 1 in 12 packs. You've got the Retro Blue Rainbow out of 199. The bottom left there, Retro Pink Pulsar. They existed in 1 in 120 blaster packs. The Retro Purple Houndstooth out of 15 serial numbering. And then, of course, there's the Retro Golden Treasures serial numbered 101. There's that. Now we have the inserts that are worth noting. We have Photo Driven, continues on. This is a continuation from prior years. There is a 15 card set of those. We have the Platinum Die Cuts, which is a 25 card set. They were the photo driven. Let me go back a second. They were 1 and 2 packs. The Platinum Die Cuts had pack odds of 1 and 4 packs. Premiere in the top right, it was a 40 card set. It was unannounced. Insert into O-Pee-Chee Platinum. In the bottom left, we've got Sweet Selections. It is a 15 card set that had 1 and 3 pack odds. And then we have here in the bottom right the Cosmic Blue, the 19 card set. You'll notice on the back here at the bottom, right above the bottom black line here, where it would say like Emerald Surge, Seismic Rainbow, Seismic Gold, that type of stuff. It says here Pack Wars. So I wanted to point that out, that this Cosmic Blue card says Pack Wars. They had pack odds of around 1 in 44 for those. It was actually veterans were 1 in 44 pack odds. Rookies were 1 in 40 pack odds. So I believe this is an Pack Wars card to get. So you might want to check that out. See if one of your favorite players has a Cosmic Blue Pack Wars parallel. Now we're moving on here. It's year 9 for O-Pee-Chee Platinum. The set stayed at an increased total of 300 cards, so that's kind of where it stayed at in the last number of years. Upper Deck kept the large number of parallels. They jacked up the impact parallels to 15 different parallels. Rainbow color wheels still there, as well as the photo variant rainbow color wheel. Liquid Metal is the only new parallel to make its debut, and I think Josh, I think he finally got through to Billy. Aquamarine makes its return to the lineup in this set, so I think Billy probably got tired of Josh nagging him, saying, "Where's my Aquamarine? You've got to bring it back." So it comes back into this set as well. And then the retail exclusives of the Walmart and Target, the Blue Surge and Red Surge, those are, retired, twilighted, whatever you call it. So those are removed from the set. So here we have the rainbow, top left there. 1 and 3 pack odds for the rainbows. You got matte pink with 1 and 9 pack odds for this color rainbow parallel. Rainbow color wheel. Same as always, it's that E-Pack achievement. You've got Sunset. That was a 1 and 6 pack odds. Neon Yellow Surge is still the Blaster exclusive. 1 and 3 pack odds to hit a Neon Yellow Surge. We have Hot Magma gets a little redesign. It's out of $4.99. Liquid Metal, there's the new debut of Liquid Metal that is serial numbered out of $3.49. We have Violet Pixels out of $2.99. Red Prism staying put at $1.99. Aquamarine comes in at $1.49. The Arctic Freeze out of $99 here. You see I have noted there's an error. The back of every single one of these, it's hard to see because the image is so small, but they misspelled the word Arctic. The proper pronunciation of the word is Arctic, Arctic. Well, in the back of the card, they forgot the first C, and it's just Arctic, Artic. I didn't know that until like a year ago, maybe 2 at most. But yeah, they misspelled Arctic on the back of all the parallels for Arctic Freeze. So take a look at yours. If you've never seen it, there you go. There's a little tidbit. Nothing special about it. It's just accepted. It exists for all of them. So moving along, we've got the Cosmic out of 65. That's a cool Cosmic design. Looks a little like some of the Skybox designs we've seen. Here we have the Seismic Gold out of 50. I'm going to pause for a second here. I'm not a huge fan of the design change, I guess the coloring hue difference of Seismic Gold here. It looks a little darker, more of a bronzy look, I guess you'd call it, when you compare it to the years prior. Not a huge fan of it. Let me go back real quick for a couple slides. If you look at this one, the seismic gold, yes, there is lighting that's affecting the picture or photo here. However, when it was in hand, that's kind of what it looked like. If you took it and shimmer it, it still had that more yellow gold look to it. Then moving forward here to the new version of seismic gold, it went to a more bronzy look. I wasn't a huge fan of that, but I don't know if how you guys feel about that. So wanted to point that out. Orange checkers, serial numbered out of 25. Emerald surge out of 10. And then, of course, you've got the golden treasures 1 of 1. Moving right along, we've got the 22, 23, the retro inserts. Again, as always, it is just 100 cards, or maybe it's 150 cards. I didn't make note of that when they increased the set, but so retro cards, 1 and 2 pack odds of getting a retro card. The retro rainbow, 1 and 12 pack odds of getting those. The retro blue tracks out of 199. Then you have over here in the bottom left the retro pink pulsar, which was 1 in 120 blasters to pull one of them. You have the retro houndstooth out of 15. And then there's the retro golden treasures 1 of 1 to have those. So pretty cool. Moving on here to the rare inserts. We have galvanized, which is a pretty cool name for a card or an insert, if you ask me. 25 cards with pack odds of 1 and 4. We have the O-Pee-Chee Premier, 40 cards set issued in hobby and e-packs. I don't have pack odds, which leads me to believe this was another unannounced insert. You have photo driven, which has been around for a bit. 15 cards in the set. They were 1 and 2 pack odds. We have pond hockey with the 20 card set. This also was an unannounced set as well. And I don't have it in here. Maybe I forgot it, but Sweet Selections was also in here. 15 cards that were in the set as well. So just another one of them in here. So moving on here, we're catching up. We're catching up to the future here of 2023-24. It's the Bedard year. It's the 10-year anniversary for Platinum. This is, again, a 300-card set. Upper Deck kept the large number of parallels, jacked up the different parallels in the set. Rainbow color wheels still here. And then you have all the retro cards. Bioluminescence and Blue Fragments are making their debut here as well. And then you've got Aquamarine and Hot Magma are twilighted and not included this year. So for all you fans wanting to see a Connor Bedard under the ocean card or in a volcano, I'm sorry, folks, you're not going to get it this year. So we've got the Rainbow card with 1 and 3 pack odds, Matte Pink with 1 and 9. Rainbow color wheel, again, e-pack achievement, but it has a parallel of every single card in the set. You have the Sunset, which is 1 and 6 pack odds. The Neon Yellow Surge is 1 and 3 blaster packs. It's it stays there as the blaster exclusive parallel. Here we have Liquid Metal, gets a slight numbering change. Liquid Metal out of 399. You have Violet Pixels out of 299. Red Prism there stays at 199. Here comes the new one, Blue Fragments at 125. I'm sorry. You have that there. You have Arctic Freeze. They fixed the printing on the back this year. Arctic Freeze out of 99. Cosmic out of 65. And moving along here, you've got Seismic Gold. They returned to a more yellow gold, more brilliant, if you ask me, Thank you for that, Upper Deck. Seismic Gold out of 50. Orange Checkers out of 25. Emerald Surge out of 10. And here we have the appearance of Bioluminescence, serial numbered out of 5. It is the second lowest serial numbered card in the set. So, maybe that was tied into the 10-year anniversary. Maybe it was tied into Bedard. But they finally have another serial number lower than 10, but higher than the Golden Treasures. So you've got here the Sasha Barkov Golden Treasures, 1 of 1 here as well. So there's those. Let's moving on here to the retro designs. We've got the retro, which is 1 and 2 pack odds. Retro Rainbow, which is 1 and 12 pack odds. You have the retro Blue Pulsar, serial numbered out of 100. Then the bottom left, you've got the retro Pink Pulsar, which is the pack odds were 1 in 120 blaster packs. And then you have the retro Houndstooth out of 15. And then, of course, the bottom card, the Adam Fantilli, the retro Golden Treasures, 1 of 1. So, yes, there's that as well. And then we have our inserts. We have Pond Hockey. Of course, they had to bring Pond Hockey back, another unannounced set. 5 cards in this one, not 20, just 5. But you had to have a Bedard. You got to get a Pond Hockey, a Bedard. Then you've got the Premier 35 card set. I don't have pack odds, which again, I'm pretty sure it means it was unannounced. But after it's seeing it 3-4 years in a row, it's unannounced. We're going to, start to hedge our bets that we should see it almost every year or every other year. You have Showmanship, which is 25 cards. They were pack odds of 1 and 4. We've got the insert Photo Driven. It's been around for years now. 15 cards. They were 1 and 2 pack odds. And then here we have Sweet Selections, 15 card insert with the 1 and 3 pack odds for those inserts in this set here. Moving right along into the most current, most recent set of O-Pee-Chee Platinum. We've arrived at this year, the 24, or this past year's 24-25 O-Pee-Chee Platinum. It's its 11-year anniversary, still going at 300 cards in the whole set. It's all the same parallels that we've come to know and love over the last decade or more. We have the Impact Parallels, 14 different ones. You also have the limited parallels as well. Matte Pink gets a slight transition, changing its name over to Pink Magma. Aquamarine is no longer in it. Liquid Metal is removed from the lineup. And then after many years, many years, I think it was, I don't remember, I forget my own research here, Rainbow Color Wheel. I didn't see it in here, but maybe that's because I don't even know if O-Pee-Chee Platinum has been released on EPAC. I forget. I'm not sure, but it's not listed for my research. So maybe it's there, maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm too current with my research. So here we have the Rainbow card, 1 and 3 pack odds. You've got Pink Magma, goes to 1 and 9 pack odds. You have Sunset, 1 and 6 pack odds. You've got Neon Yellow Surge, the Blaster exclusive, that is 1 and 3 blaster packs. Violet Pixels is serial numbered out of 299. You've got Red Prism, serial numbered out of 199. Blue Fragments, serial numbered out of 125. Arctic Freeze out of 99. Cosmic with a cool design out of serial numbered out of 65. Seismic Gold. They kind of went a little backwards in their design. I think, I'm not sure. They're still yellowy, not as bad as the one 2 years ago, but Seismic Gold out of 50. And then you've got the Orange Checkers, serial numbered out of 25. Emerald Surge, serial numbered out of 10. And then Bioluminescence, serial numbered out of 5, of the William Eklund card there in the bottom left. And then, of course, in the bottom, Golden Treasures, 101 of Marco Rossi there. So, yeah, there's those in that set of O-Pee-Chee Platinum. Then we have our retro cards. You've got the retro card, 1 and 2 pack odds. The retro rainbow is 1 in 12. You've got the retro blue luster, serial numbered out of 100. Serial numbers at the top, right above the player's statistics, on the back of the card there. You've got the retro pink pulsar, again 120 blaster pack odds for the retro pink pulsar. The retro houndstooth, serial numbered out of 15. And then, of course, there's the retro golden treasures. And getting into the inserts, here we have our first ever look at mixed media variant. It is a 20 card insert. The pack odds are 1 in 288 packs. And the mixed media it's a combination of a bunch. I don't know if it's all of them, but a bunch of the other parallels. You can see in the top corner there, you've got cosmic. Bottom there is bioluminescence. It looks like there's the ocean, so that might be the sunset. The top left there is Arctic freeze, the little frozen area. So that's the mixed media variant. Pretty cool card. They tend to be a little pricey. The pack odds of 1 in 288. Pretty rare, but I have seen a lot of them on eBay. I'll be honest with you. Then we've Premier 35 card set. It is not unannounced. It is 1 in 72 pack odds. You have Showmanship, 25 card insert, 1 in 4 pack odds, and then Power Playmakers, as a 15 card set, 1 in 2 packs for those, and then Sweet Selections 15 card set, inserted, 1 in 3 pack odds. So there's those in the set, and that, as they say, folks, is that. That was a lot. So we got through it. That's a lot. I hope you got something out of it and learned a lot about O-Pee-Chee Platinum, tying in the color rainbow. We see how if you go back to 2002, 2003, where you had just the red and the blue and O-Pee-Chee paper, and then the evolution where you had the red, blue, and the gold, and then the evolution into O-Pee-Chee paper where you had the retro cards in there as well. So a lot to consume there and all tie them together. And if you ask me, I think SD was right. It all ties into the number parallels that we see today and that we've kind of become accustomed to, and we probably just take for granted. So, but yeah, that was a lot. As you can see why this got to be a longer episode. So anyway, let's get into the home stretch here. I have my PC spotlight. So fittingly, I'm going to share and highlight some O-Pee-Chee Platinum cards in my set today. So here we have the 2019-2020 O-Pee-Chee Platinum Golden Treasures. For those of you that were observant during the slides, I did include this in there for the photo. This was my first Golden Treasure, serial numbered. You can see the back here, 101. I got this from a fellow collector, a fellow Couturier Flyer fan who also PC'd Couturier. He was kind of getting out of it. So he lives near me. We're about 30, 40 minutes away from each other. I saw that he was selling this, and we met. Got this from him. So this was my first ever Golden Treasure. So always remember this one. And then I have another one. Again, if you're paying attention, another Golden Treasures. Let me put my finger here on the bottom. This is the infamous year? Yes, the infamous. Come on, here we go. The 21-22 miscut year. You can see over here on this side, it's miscut to the side there a little bit. Excuse me. This card was I purchased from a dealer from Whatnot, and he goes to card shows. KCJ_99, great guy. He knew. There's the serial number up top here. He knows that I'm a Couturier collector. We met at the Fishtown card show once and I've been on his a couple of his whatnots, and he's seen my collection. He follows me, and he had this. He reached out to me on Instagram and said, "Hey, I've got something on um, one of my upcoming shows that I think you're going to be interested in." So, shout out to Casey for hooking me up. He gave me a great price on it because it is the miscut year, and so yeah, got to add a second Golden Treasures to the mix there. And lastly, I'll give this one. This was one I wasn't gonna. It's not O-Pee-Chee, but this came in the mail today. It is the Mitch Koff National Rapper Redemption insert, the top shelf insert for rookies for Mitch Koff. I got this one, saw this. So this was at the National. I was not. From 2025, the Rapper Redemption. Love this card. It's a cool design, top shelf. Funny, ironic thing is, my impatience got the best of me. I got it pretty cheap. I mean, it was like $6, something like that. Not expensive. Got it in the mail, shared it in a text. I showed the guys, the friends. I'm like, hey guys, check it out. And Louis goes, oh, I've got one of those for you. So my impatience got the best of me. So, so there's my PC pickups or PC spotlight. Sorry. So there you have it. I'm going to kind of finish up here. This has gotten into my longest episode ever. As you can see why it got longer and in depth. I sure hope that I managed to make this giving you a fun background on O-Pee-Chee Platinum and their run of parallels. O-Pee-Chee, Platinum, how it tied from paper all the way through to the O-Pee-Chee Platinum era. If you know anything that I missed, or maybe I misspoke about something or shared wrong information, again, I kind of was doing this on my own. Gets a little confusing all these years and parallel. So if you notice something I missed, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. I hope I did it the topic justice. It's funny because I felt like I had a good understanding of O-Pee-Chee Platinum, and I'll be honest, I learned probably a dozen new things more that I learned out of the history behind it and some of these cards. And as I went through it, I definitely added a few cards that are now on my wish list or my save searches as well. Some that I've even picked up that I haven't gotten in the mail yet. So I would like to say thank you to SD Hockey Cards for asking the question, sending me on this research. Sometimes I was cursing you, but I was in the long run. It was very fun. I hope it ended up meeting or exceeding your expectations. I had a fun time doing it. So please feel free. Everyone in general, share your comments or questions or your personal experiences about anything related to O-Pee-Chee Platinum, rainbows, the color parallels, some of the inserts. If you were somebody that happened to get one of those VIP Black achievements or some of the other ones, share your comments and feedback. This is kind of a bigger topic, so I love when the discussion continues over on Discord. So feel free to chat it up on there. Remember to catch new episodes here on Discord on the Behind the Bench channel. Just look for the clover emoji. New episodes are dropped here on Tuesdays. Follow me on Instagram at Irish Flyers Collector. You're welcome to DM me there as well. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to watch and listen. I genuinely appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. So until next time, I'm Neil, Irish Flyers Collector, and you've been Behind the Bench.